Thanks for joining us today. We got a killer little show for you here today about confusion. So if anybody's ever been confused, you want to tune in right here. We're going to help you with it.
What if you live in a state of confusion?
I know what that feels like. I have lived in a state of confusion for much of my life. But coming out of that confusion, obviously, is the reason why we want to talk about this, right? And what we did to come out of that confusion that we know that you experience as entrepreneurs, right? Constantly, and you don't know which way to go, especially in the days that we live in today. And I'm running down a rabbit hole right here early on in the show, but it's just a passionate thought process that Tanya and I have developed over several years and many years of culminated business together and several years together, taking her BrandFace principles and applying them to life in a way that is going to make a difference in your businesses. So you want to pay attention here. Listen up.
Okay, so there's two major thought processes we're going to talk to you about today, and it's you cannot calculate the cost of confusion, okay? It is a double-edged sword. So there's two things it causes when you do not have a well-defined and developed brand that can set you apart. So I'm going to kind of, start off with number one, that with one side of that sword, okay? And it causes confusion with your prospects. So if you can imagine, real estate agents tell us all the time, hey, we're caught out here, we're lost in this sea of sameness. And it seems like all the websites are the same, the business cards are the same, everybody's posting the same things on social media.
Marketing doesn't work.
It's all like, we've heard it all, believe me. We've felt it in previous years as well. So before this thought process was actually in place. So when it causes confusion with your prospects, there's several things that happen. Number one, they don't know how you're different from your competitors. Mm-hmm. And unfortunately, in the world of sales, no matter what type of sales that you're in, people tend to associate people in sales, like it or not, with a lowest common denominator. So if you don't tell them how you specialize, show them how you're professional, tell them what sets you apart, then they're going to automatically lump you in with everybody else in the real estate world and their own perception of what a real estate agent is like. And you want to live above that fray. So that's what it will actually help you do when you have a well-defined and developed brand. It'll also help people understand why they should choose you over somebody else, and it doesn't stop there.
That's pretty important.
It's really important. And it doesn't stop there. It also helps them see how you are actually perfect for them. Because we've heard this time and again, and I'll go back to several years ago. One of our agents, one of our clients is a real estate agent in upstate New York, and I'll never forget the day she called me. And we were pretty new into this program, so it was about 5 or 6 years ago. Mm-hmm. And she was making her way through the program. She had just started, so she called me up and she said, "Hey, Tanya, I don't even have any of my branding elements ready yet, except for I just know my brand identifier, which is a tagline or a slogan, and I know my elevator pitch, which is that basically that one sentence that kind of sets the global tone for your brand and direction." She said, "But I've started introducing myself in my area just using my brand identifier and my elevator pitch. Hi, I'm Gail. I'm known as this, and here's who I help and how I help you." She said, "You would not believe the number of people that look at me with wide eyes and say to me, 'Oh my gosh, that's what you do?' That's exactly where I am in my life right now." And immediately that resonated with her ideal customers. And that made a connection that nobody else could make because nobody had presented themselves to her prospects the way that she had presented herself. That's right. So again, that one side of the sword is the prospects, that it can confuse how they view you because people will view you however they want to until you tell them otherwise. Mm-hmm. And that's what your brand does. It precedes you and it tells them where to put you in the order of things, in the order of real estate business. Okay? That's one side of the sword.
Yeah, the other side of that double-edged sword is it gives you direction. And if any of you out there think, man, it sure would be nice to have some direction, we're telling you where to get it, okay? We're telling you what to do. Look, I talked about this on our webinar about an hour ago. I know what it's like to be confused. I know what it's like to get up as a real estate agent and go, what do I do now? Right? Or entrepreneur that says, I've spent a lot of money in advertising and I'm still sitting by the phone and it's not ringing, right? I know what it's like to feel like marketing does not work, but I can tell you marketing absolutely does work. You have to market correctly, and there is no platform that's just going to bring you this big, huge lead generation while you sit on the couch and just count your money, right? I wish there was, right? And if I could find it, I will share it with the rest of the world after I utilize it myself, okay? It does not exist. You have to hit the ground running and be a hustler every day. But you don't have to kill yourself in that hustling, and that's a very important part. But if you're well-defined, if your ideal customers are well-defined, like we teach you in the BrandFace program, then the blinders for this crazy world right here bring you into focus, and you know every day that you get up what you need to do to bring in more business for yourself. And I can tell you that it works, folks. You would expect me to say this, right? Because I am a partner in a company, but I don't want everybody to forget I was a client first. And I don't mind saying that I paid Tanya's company a lot of money to do the BrandFace principles. I did, all right? And they work. That's why we decided to put them together. She had already written a book. We put it together as a program and said, look, we can make this concise and we can make it affordable for people, and we can teach them how they need to go every day focused into what they do. Because like you said, if you don't tell people how to think about you and perceive you, they'll just think what they want to and perceive what they want to about you, right? And if that is the case, if they either one perceive you as just one more realtor, one more car salesman, one more insurance agent, one more marketing agent, like if they just see you that way, they have already lumped you into the sea of sameness, even though you have very special qualities that are very attractive to a very idyllic group of customers that are searching for that, right? We remember the adage that, you know, groups run together, birds of a feather flock together, like that. There's a reason why that is a colloquialism all across the world, because it is true. Well, guess what? You don't have to be some ethereal believer in the law of attraction, even though we are, for that to make sense in marketing also. If you have friends in your groups, in your organizations, in your church groups, in your recreational groups, in your bike riding groups, or your motorcycle groups, if you have friends, guess what? You will have idyllic customers that are also the same as your friends, because people that get along, and people want to do business with somebody they get along with. So the minute that you define all of that, and now you're focused every day on all your extra peripherals on how you reach out to that person, you're helping to attract that ideal customer back to yourself, while you have made your life a whole lot less confusing, because every day you know what to do.
Very true. And just to piggyback on what Michael said, it's not just about the professional side of things. On the back of all our books, it says people don't do business with a logo. They do business with a person. What he's talking about with your biking groups, all the different kinds of groups of people that you associate with socially, those are very important, because a lot of times somebody might not know that you are a cyclist. They might not know you're a runner. They might not know that you enjoy antiquing, all of those things. And that can be the one thing that kind of brings you together in the first place, or at least that point of conversation, a conversation starter when you do come together. So a lot of things hinge on that. We could go on about this forever. We're not going to. We're going to spare you. So that double-edged sword, the cost of confusion, it applies because it causes confusion with your prospects, and it causes confusion in your own direction if you do not have a well-defined and displayed personal brand. And I'll leave it with this. If you guys would like some more information, access, and content that you won't find anywhere else, if you are a business owner or entrepreneur, head to Build Your Business Star Brand Facebook group. It's a Facebook group especially for business owners, entrepreneurs. If you are a real estate professional, go to Build Your Real Estate Brand Facebook group, and we will hopefully see you guys there.
Yes. And then also, folks, to take it a step further, if you're interested, if you're intrigued at all, about branding, if you want to know more about branding, or if you think you have a brand, or if you do have a brand and you want us to discuss that brand with you, you can go to discussyourbrand.com. It's absolutely free. There's no obligation. You can set a strategy session, a 30-minute free strategy session with any one of our staff. Okay, that is discussyourbrand.com, and you can go on that and schedule it for anything. Like if you say, hey, I want to know more about this brand, I don't even know what brand is, all the way down to, hey, I have a brand, would you take a look at it and be sure it's well defined? We'll be glad to do that for you. Okay. Yep. And folks, hey, look, around here we know that it's all about prosperity. And when we say prosperity, we're not just talking about money. We're talking about the whole 360 degrees of an abundant life. And we know that prosperity favors the bold. So we say be bold, folks, especially with your brand. And thank you, Miss Tanya. Thank
you, Michael. Thank you all for tuning in today. And for those of you who tune in later, pop your questions and comments down in the comments area, and we'll be glad to answer them for you. Have a wonderful day, everybody.
Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.